Greetings. Today I want to speak to you on a very, very important topic that most people wouldn't want to speak about. Now, since I was a little boy growing up, I've heard many people refer to themselves as the man of God, the woman of God, the prophet of God, the prophetess of God, and so on. But I've never heard anyone refer to themselves as a God man. I've never heard anyone refer to themselves as being omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. No, they give those qualities, to some entity outside of themselves. But based on my experience, I realize that I am first invisible, then visible. I realize that I am a first spirit, and I'm having a human experience. So this physical body is not the real me. The real me is my consciousness, my awareness, which is my true essence, which is invisible. Well, not until you experience this invisible self, whereby you can appear and disappear, or you experiencing yourself as the wind, also experiencing yourself as the fire, experiencing yourself as the earth, experiencing yourself as water, and experiencing yourself as spirit. Not until you have that kind of experience that you would know that you're first God and then man. That's why I will always refer to myself as a God man, because I'm first God, and second man. So for all the people who want to refer to themselves as the man of God, that's their prerogative. Who want to refer to themselves as the woman of God, that's their prerogative. Who want to look on the outside for a God, that's their prerogative. But I know that the intelligence is within me. I know that the power is within me. And anyone who's listening to me and disagree with me, and who will say blasphemy, and will say that he's crazy, well, you have a right to do that, because you're basing everything on what you were told, but not what you have experienced. You see, when I experience my true self, which is my true essence, my invisible self, it taught me that there's truly a science whereby you can create consciously. And I've been using that science to change my life in many different ways. And I can guarantee you that people all around the world who have billions and millions, like for example, multimillionaires, billionaires, many of these people, they learn this truth that I'm sharing with you many a time from their fraternity, their secret brotherhood, ancient wisdom and knowledge are passed down from lip to ear. But when I had this experience, which is basically the experience of the inner birth, that's when I discovered the truth about the real virgin birth, and put a book together called The Secret Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth. I would encourage you to get that book, The Secret Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth. It was the same experience that allowed me to write a book called How to Turn Water into Wine. There is a reason why no preacher in my country has ever turned water into wine. Any preacher around the world has ever turned water into wine. I walk on literal water. And then the religious people will say to you, well, that is not literal. Well, I'm saying to you, there's nothing inside of the Bible that is literal. It's all mind science. You see, the death, burial, and resurrection and the virgin birth is the same event. That is why I was able to put a Bible together. And there's no Jesus in that Bible. There's a blank space for you to write your name, which is I am. That's why I leave the blank space for you to write your name. Because it is your spiritual autobiography that you must understand metaphysically and esoterically, that you must understand psychologically. You have to realize that all is mental, all is mind. Everything has to first be a thought, it has to first be an idea, it has to first be imagined. So this is the challenge. If I'm truly a God man, what are the characteristics of God? God is a creator. Therefore, I must and will teach you how to be a conscious creator. For example, there's a young man in this country who had $100,000 debt. And I know he was going through an awakening process. And so I had a conversation with him. And I asked him who he normally listened to, like who is his mentors and so on. And all the men he was listening to was basically some white men. So I said, yes, what they're teaching us, self-help, self-development and so on, you will hear them speak in English just like how we speak in English, but they're speaking still in a code. So not until you understand everything that they're speaking about, you can actually find it in the Bible. When you understand the Bible from a different angle. You see, when I show him the angle that you were taught the Bible from, it's from the colonial way to keep you enslaved. That is why it was never taught to you as a book of mind science. It was taught to you as if it is literal and secular history, as if it is a religious book, when it is actually a magic book. So I taught him how to get in touch with his magical self, how to get in touch with his magnetic and electrical self. And to cut a long story short, within a short few years, this man already paid off his $100,000 debt. This man have a very, very vibrant and prosperous business in this country. And even his parents, who was telling him, oh, I am of the devil, I lead him astray. Right now, they're proud of him and what he would have done with his life. And I can give you so many different testimonials of other people. Just recently, I went up in the financial complex, and just as I came out of the elevator, there's a brother, they come and shook my hand and said, man, you spoke to me, years ago, and you tell me to do certain things, and I do those things, and trust me, they do work. Said, my life is better, man, I feel so happy. My brother, my sisters, you know how good you feel in this life when you do not have to worry about anything at all. When you realize that this is not a dog-eat-dog world, when you realize this is not a competitive world. I remember one time someone said to me, what you're doing, you're competing with such and such and such and such. I said, no, I don't compete. I manifest. In other words, I'm trying to tell that person that I'm a conscious creator. I know how to create my reality consciously. And I've been using the knowledge to help people all around the world. And you could be one of those persons, okay, who can definitely get help from me. But you must all be willing to invest in yourself. When it comes to self-development, self-help, and so on, all be willing to invest in yourself and never put money as being more valuable than you. You're more valuable than money. So, my brother, my sisters, I'm offering myself to you as a coach or as a mentor. And if what I'm saying, if it resonates with you and you feel you can definitely work with me because what I'm saying, it makes sense and so on, feel free to reach out to me. I believe that all the links, they're already down below. And if you need to get my books, they're all available on Amazon. You have about 10 or more books to choose from. If you want to do a one-on-one, as I said before, you can contact me. But whatsoever you desire, okay, my encouragement to you is to check out all of the links that are down below. And definitely let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all.